Alright. What's up, everybody? It's PiGFest, and in the first round, the round of 16, we've got Basilisk Gaming's Reynor in the top left. Just Basilisk, I think they prefer to be called, since they are a science-based company and research group and bunch of badass nerds. They're like, we don't need the gaming or the gamer or the esports, we're just Basilisk. We are a creature. We've already got their #1 fan in chat, Eon Blue, calling it out as well. Thanks for the reminder. I was already correcting myself before you even got a chance to. In the bottom right, my other favorite team, I was wearing their cap just yesterday while I was going for a run in the blazing heat. Onside Gaming Solar. It's now got sweat marks on it, so I just made my black onside hat much less cool. I'm like, it's now a workout hat. GG. Anyways, he didn't get to block the expansion, guys. Wait, what the hell? Was this a 15 hatch? That's a pretty early hatchery, right? He started that 30 seconds ago right now. So yeah, that's a very early hatchery. Looks like Solar went for a quick hatchery. And yes, if those are wondering, Reynor's played Protoss. And guess what? Solar knew. We told Solar, hey, we're letting Reynor pick race. And apparently Reynor even told Solar up front, he said, I'm going to be playing Protoss, at least at the start of the series. I might race switch from there. But just so you know, I'm playing Protoss. And that's awesome. For those who don't know, Reynor took a bunch of time off after G8. I don't know if we included that in our kind of pro gamers read mean comments section or not, but Reynor was kind of saying, you know, I was a bit burnt out after Gamers A. Like I literally just couldn't really make myself grind Zerg games. I put 100% effort in every part of my heart and soul. All I did was think about StarCraft from waking up to falling asleep every day, dreaming about it, analyzing for months and months. And that's why I won Home Story Cup in Gamers 8. Since then, he's been taking it easy, chilling out a little bit, playing League of Legends on stream, playing a bit of Terran in tournaments, and just kind of chilling and having fun. So Reynor is playing a loose style of StarCraft. Now, there's two things here. #1, Reynor could still have really high expectations of himself because he's Reynor, and get a bit stressed because he's not as practiced with Protoss, and Solar might just outclass him. On the other hand, Reynor has nothing to lose and Solar has everything. And Solar is going to be a little bit inside his own head here, because for those who don't know, Reynor has a 100% win rate versus Solar with Protoss. And that's not just a joke stat. He is 4-0. He's beat him in 2 best-of-3s at both DreamHack Valencia 2022 and at a Home Story Cup in 2022. So Solar being 0-4 versus Reynor's Protoss, famously himself saying, when I asked him about it, he said, you know, I actually think his Protoss, his PvZ at least, is better than Heroes. I think it's the best PvZ in the world. People in the chat were saying as the series started, they were like, oh, I really hope Solar's learned to play aggressive. Reynor is really good at being greedy and playing late game properly, but I think he's weak to timing attacks. That's definitely what we've seen in his PvT. He has a very high knowledge in PvZ, but we know that like Serral, for instance, cut him down with some nice Nidus Worm tactics when they played in a big tournament. And if you can scout what he's up to, you can do very well. It is an Oracle opening so far for Reynor. No units have gone down on either side. Solar opening up with a solid opening. And I do think him getting the hatchery started and not blocked is very nice. I think if the Protoss sends a probe across at the start and they block the hatchery, it's okay. It's good for Protoss just slightly. But if you manage to get the hatchery down and they sent a probe across, it's a very good start for Zerg. Slows down the Protoss opening. They don't slow yours down. And you're going to go straight into the next step. 6 Zerglings coming across the map. Only 1 Adept there. The probe is kind of guarding the Adept and it's in a bit of a choke point, but... Ooh, he tried to mineral walk the probe, but the Adept was not quite far enough forward to defend it. And the Adept trying to chase off these Zerglings. Good micro on that probe, though. He sends it back to the natural, sends it back to the third. Oracle about to come in on the top. Spore Crawler's not quite done, but 2 Queens, more than enough to defend that. He's got to get out of there. Reynor taking a lot of damage. You do not want to lose that first Oracle. Oh, disaster strikes. Reynor goes a little bit too deep there, trying to force damage with the first Oracle, and that is a disaster. Oracles are all about renewability. Over time, they just recycle, they do more and more damage, they get more vision, they force more responses, and Solar is all over it. Great start for Solar. Fleet Beacon's on the way, my lord. Reynor's got some builds up his sleeve. So he's going to go on a quick 3rd and 4th gas after 3rd Nexus. Fleet Beacon, but no 2nd Stargate. Build doesn't line up. Where's the 2nd Stargate, Reynor? He's forgotten it. That's a problem. Single Stargate carrier does not make sense, guys. So it's definitely a bit of a mistake here for him. There is an Overlord hiding in the back of the base. Oh, wait. Wait, is he trying to show him a Fleet Beacon to trick him? If Solar goes back and doesn't see anything else... Dude, he's trying to trick Solar, I think, with that Fleet Beacon. Reynor's playing 4-dimensional chess, or he's messed up his build. I don't know which one right now. The Adept shade in, they get surrounded by Zerglings. Very good for Solar so far. Stalker is going to try and go after. He's building one carrier. I'm looking at Reynor's camera. What? Single? Is this the build? Oh my god, this might actually be the build. His plan might be to force an over response, but his attacks are not finding damage right now. This is a slaughter. Solar is all over him. Reynor's trying a very far out of left field playstyle here, but he's just being a bit too inefficient with the first Oracle, the Adepts, and then a few Stalkers as well. On the other hand, it's very hard for Solar to figure out what Reynor's doing because, well, he's building a single carrier and now going Twilight Forge. I actually think there's a few very clever ideas in what Reynor's doing in this game. This is almost impossible to read, but because he's been so weak with his early trading, you should be way more efficient than the Zerg. Instead, he's been way less efficient. It's a kind of disastrous start. Luckily, Lings aren't in position, but 5 Queens have pretty good damage anyway, so he's only going to get 3 drones for 2 Adepts there. Transfuse says no! Solar only taking 2. And he starts Aspire as well. Good call. Double Forge goes down for Reynor. Nope, cancels the second Forge, starts the Templar Archives. He's got a single carrier, a Stalker, an Oracle, and an Adept. Right now, this seems like a bit of a finger painting of a Protoss build rather than a regular Protoss build order. And I wouldn't mind Solar going Mass Muta. I actually think that might be the best way to win, is just go straight to 8 gas and go Mutalisks. He's already on 7 gases. Taking 1 more and going heavy Muta would be a great way to win. Ling's going to get a cancel. Nicely done. Nexus does get restarted here at 7 minutes. I mean, Reynor's been reasonably greedy this game, which is nice. But yeah, he's got 2 carriers out. He's trying to make Psystorm and Blink right now at the same time. A couple Eye Templar gathering energy. No pointy edges in Reynor's build. And Solar knows exactly what's happening. He's got 8 Queens, 80 drones. He's going to 85 drones. And that 8th gas we were talking about. He's making Roach Speed in +1, but no Roaches. He could go Corruptors, but I think Mutas would be a game winner. Doesn't matter if you've got Psystorm, Archons, a couple cannons and batteries. Unless you've got cannons and batteries in every mineral line, those Mutas will always find an angle. He is building a cannon and battery in the main, so that plus the cannon battery here. Reynor is reasonably well set up on the D. But if he doesn't have Phoenix, it's going to be tough. The Oracle just went down, guys. So both Oracles have fallen, and with that, Reynor is in the dark. Essentially, we're going to Reynor's camera. Solar has poked his eyes out. Reynor is going to have to play Illidan Protoss right now. He's like, I can smell you, demon. And you're like, I don't know if you can. Because, like, I like the fantasy, the idea of a guy fighting with a blindfold. In actual practice, I think it works out like if you take a Shaolin monk and you put them in the UFC. There ends up being some pretty bad brain damage in the near future. It looks cool. I don't know if it'll hold up. And Reynor has no vision here. This early game was just too rough for him. The Mutas are sliding across. They're sneaking in towards the main. He has no idea this is coming. A cannon will not defend this. A few Archons and a few Eye Templar will not defend this. Solar is looking about to swoop in for the victory. Reynor watching his face as those Mutalisks go in. Battery gets taken out there. Cannon is going to get taken out as well. Reynor's going to try and scramble to the high ground with some units. We can see Lings on the minimap going across the bottom side. And those probes falling very quickly. Already 12 of them going down. Reynor's Archons do get a good volley on those Mutas. 2 carriers and 2 Archons. Not a bad quick reaction force to deal with the Mutalisks. You're not going to get overwhelmed by those Mutas. Oh, I like the Storm. Double Storm, but how many Mutas did he kill? 6. Okay, not too bad, but you lost 12 probes. You're in a very fragile position right now. Mutalisks have so much mobility. They're going to keep this game fast and active. Reynor is going to need to make a heroic comeback to bring this game back into his control. Going after the Archons, does lose a few more Mutas there. I say a few more, 1 more. Always hard to tell how many die when they're stacked like that. Great Storm. But Reynor's going to be careful because, like, he's got only so many Eye Templar, Storms, Cannons, and Batteries. And he's got to cover multiple angles. On the other hand, Reynor is once again reminding us why he's so scary with Protoss. Because his early game is just not at the top level, guys. It really is not. In terms of the early game, if things get a bit too hectic, like we've seen Dark cause the same problems just by making him multitask with little Ling run-bys and stuff, Reynor's not as experienced on the Protoss side of things. But once he gets to the late game, he has an excellent knowledge of exactly how to play. Great pickoffs on these gateways. Anything is high-value target there. Oh, good Storm! Can he save the carrier? He does. Carrier is heavily damaged. Gonna need some more cannons and batteries in that main. Storms on the Mutas doing what they can. Carrier does fall. 19 Mutalisks have gone down in this game. That high... Whoa! Buddy! Buddy! That's not a... This High Templar clearly had to move all the way around the cannons to try to land that Storm. Not the best one. I don't know what that High Templar's name is. You guys can choose. I think we all have a friend who's the guy who Psy Storms on the ground, you know? It's the guy in the penalty shootout who just kicks the ball straight off the side of the field. Like, it's not even within 90 degrees of the goal. You're like, really, man? Is that what we're doing? Muta's coming back in the main base. REYNOR's actually getting close to maxed out, and there's nothing but Mutiling Bane. I really feel like Solar's wasting a lot of time here, guys. Why is he not crashing in and denying these bases from multiple sides? I get the angles are kind of hard to. He's waiting for baneling speed. That's why. +2 melee baneling speed. Archon cannon battery. One storm could be game-changing. Massive Psy Storm. Mutas on the top aren't getting anything done. The Archon's doing well, but the 3 banelings get in the mineral line, and that's all you need. And Archon does get focused down by the Mutas. Dude, that looked like a near-perfect hold for REYNOR. He loses 20 probes at the end of it. A disaster for many Protosses, but REYNOR sits at 90 probes. You can lose 15, 20 probes as REYNOR. Doesn't really matter as long as he keeps the 5th alive, and that's the real high-value target that's going to go down. Solar says, no, I'm done. I'm done playing with these low-value Protoss targets. I'm going to find myself a high-value Protoss. Gets in there, starts damaging the Nexus, but does not take it down. What's he building? Lings, Banes, and he's just started the Hive. He goes right back in, though. Oh, that's a good move. REYNOR thought he'd retreated. He had not, and he's going to get the kill there. Stalkers will blink on it. Phoenix going to try and punish him. A lot of Mutas do go down. REYNOR will rebuild that. More Banes roll in. The probes did evacuate. He only lost a few that time, guys. Remember, the probe count of units lost is kind of stacked for multiple fights. Gets a few cannons and batteries. Units lost have 5,000 resources in favor of REYNOR. If REYNOR gets that 5th base pop back up right now, he can be okay, but he's got to do things quickly. He needs to replace the cannon battery. He needs to replace it. He's got 2 forges building shields and armor upgrades that will be amazing against the Lings, the Banes, and the Mutas. But he also feels like he's got to push before Hive Tech gets in. I like the idea of pushing to make Solar spend all his money on Ling Bane Muta, but I don't think you can actually kill him with this army. Psy Storm's good. I don't know if it's that good, though. The Baneleg's going for the High Templar, and that's always the problem. You just can't. The High Templar need to be so spread out, and now he's going to get jumped on by the Zerglings, and that should be... Wait. Solar's bank is gone. No. What? No! Solar! Look at his supply! How did he spend that much money in that short a period of time? What? How, REYNOR? Okay, what? I know he was pretty wasteful. I didn't realize he was that wasteful. Solar just took way too long to get banelings. REYNOR's absolutely stomping right now. REYNOR had one of the most trash early games I've seen in a while from a Protoss player. I was, honestly, I didn't want to talk about it too much, but I did mention it was not great. It was definitely not great. Solar had great macro, but maybe Twitch chat was right. I very rarely will say those words, but whoever it was like, Solar needs to be more aggressive. Maybe he needed to keep diving with the Mutalisks and keep trading earlier and getting deeper on his bases. Waiting for baneling speed, I think, was a big mistake. He let REYNOR get a bit more established. Now, don't get me wrong, Solar's an expert Zerg. He might be able to dig himself out of trouble if he can get to Broodlords, but that's a big if right now because there's a carrier, there's a lot of Archon, Stalkers, and Storm. Archons will smash those Zerglings. The Phoenix and the single carrier are actually doing okay here, and Archon just absorbed 20 Banelings. Rolling Banelings into Archons doesn't feel good, but the Lings do very well versus the Stalkers when they're spread out. Keep in mind, it's 2-1-1 upgrades versus just 2-1 for the Zerg, so much better upgrades than you're used to seeing from Protoss, and REYNOR is trading well enough. What in the hell? He does a thumbs up to the camera. Cheeky boy REYNOR. With a terrible start, just shows excellent late-game knowledge of PvZ. All right, he's going to be much more decisive this game. Solar in the bottom right side, playing Zerg. That was a rough one. He was in the advantage position, but he got stuck on Mutiling Bane. A quicker Hive, quicker Baneling speed, or simply committing to just Roaches, Lings, and just Mutas attacking from all sides earlier when he had the supply advantage. The genius of REYNOR's opening, and he does get the block on the hatchery this game, so this one's already starting off better than the last game. The genius of that one Stargate carrier opening is it looks like you assume there's a second Stargate, you just haven't scouted it. So as the Zerg, you're like, okay, like, what are we going to do to handle this? We're going to go Spire, we get 90 drones, you know, we'll go Corruptors or maybe Mutas. And then you're like, wait, he's actually on ground. Okay, but wait, he's still building carriers, but just one at a time. So it's just like, it's a different thing. And this is what you really want to do against Zerg players, is you want to show them different things they're not used to and don't know how to read. And that's very, very important. So guys, this one is Western US. We're on Solar's map pick as well as Solar's server advantage. The last one, REYNOR's map pick, REYNOR's server advantage. He won the coin toss, so he chose to kind of go first in that regard. And this is going to be interesting. So hatch gas pool comes up for Solar on the 3rd. Nexus into Cybercore. Very standard play for REYNOR. I do know some Protoss started squeezing a probe in here before the gas. And REYNOR, part of that school of thought, apparently this is slightly more efficient. The 21 supply gas. And you still go the second pylon on 22, I believe. Such a minor adjustment for the Protoss nerds out there. I've been thinking about trying this. Oh, got to get that pylon started. There we go. Queen starting in the main and the 3rd. Solar sent his drone out early enough that his hatchery is not too delayed. Man, yeah, that is... There's fall-off points with Mutalisks, but you just need to keep attacking. And the Mutalisks were being well defended in the north, but I do not think REYNOR could have supported his cannons and batteries on the south at the same time. Feels kind of crappy to invest in Roaches and Ravagers, but I think Roaches and Ravagers would have got the job done in that last game. There was a handful of Stalkers, 1 or 2 Carriers, and a handful of High Templar, and a bunch of Static. And Solar, of course, had a massive eco advantage, but yeah, the Banelings... Also, when he went for the Banelings, maybe if he attacked from 2 or 3 sides at once, rather than just coming all from one angle. Because historically, REYNOR's weakness is storming in 2 or 3 places at once. I mean, that's just very hard to pull off in general. People are always like, oh, they just defend with cannons and storm. But like, if you're defending in 2 or 3 places at once, you can't really storm correctly. So it's definitely a way you can take advantage of it. Like to see Solar, if he gets a similar advantage, keep the momentum up. On the other hand, for REYNOR, we want to see him be more conservative with his first Oracle. If you see 2 Queens, don't just fly past them. If you see a Spore, back away as needed. Don't throw your Oracles away. Don't throw your Adepts and your Stalkers away. Show just a little bit more respect and finesse in this early game. You want to apply pressure, but you don't want to be throwing units away. This is not a good start for REYNOR. That was an accidental shade. REYNOR did not even realize. He thought he canceled that. A big mistake for REYNOR. 2 Adepts get thrown away. Can't be giving these free advantages to Solar in the early game. Unfortunate start here. Has an Adept going to the wall off. Another Adept is on the way. Second gate as well. That's going to delay his 3rd base a little bit. Losing those Adepts. Solar's droning pretty well. I don't think he's been supply blocked much, if at all, this game. Pretty much just the ones that are built into the build order for maximum efficiency when you're prioritizing one thing or another. He does need to... His 3rd hatchery has come up and his Overlord's popped, so, you know, he's looking pretty good. I do like that REYNOR's just waiting here. He doesn't want to turn on the laser to get the lava, but that might be worth it here. And, oh, Solar tried to cancel it, but one of the drones popped anyway. So he ends up losing a lava and a drone, and a building Spore Crawler gets cancelled as well. But not the end of the world. Just a little bit of damage for REYNOR. 3rd Nexus is on the way on the right side. It's a bit delayed. 420 Nexus. As much as we, I know there's a lot of fans of the Devil's Cabbage, the Devil's Lettuce out there, but I don't know if 420 is a very good timing for that. Normally 345, 350, a bit more standard. Oracles dive, they get 2 kills. Ooh, that Oracle's so low. This one runs forward, sticks its booty out to try and distract the Queens. It does succeed. And does he have any flying units at home? He does not right now, so we can't actually get rid of the Overlord on the high ground. Now, we do have 2 more gases. It's 3 gates into a Robo... Wait, Robo Gateway? No, he settles on a Forge. What are we going for, mate? This looks like a charge build. I'm not quite sure. I think REYNOR might be anticipating a Queen Walk or some sort of just big Roach Queen shove. And the reason is that's Solar's kind of best move. You know, I always call it the brick to the face. Where Solar looks most powerful in this matchup when he just decides to just shove you with some mix of Roaches, Queens, and Zerglings before the 8-minute mark. And he has many variations. He always does them with great decisiveness. And if you're not a top-tier Protoss player, you tend to just get overwhelmed and killed, even though it looks like you have the right unit composition. Just the timing that he hits so fast with such numbers, it's really rough. Good surround with the Lings. Adepts warping in. I think they'll be able to buy a little bit of time, but... Man, that shield battery is just a little bit too late, isn't it? Gets a couple of Adepts there and a couple of probes. Units lost tab looking pretty decent there for the Zerg player. Solar on 57 workers versus 59. Actually, pretty good for REYNOR in that regard. War Prism comes in. Twilight Council behind it. Is it just a delayed blink? It might be. It looked like he was trying to fake a Stalker build, but now he's going 6 gas. He's making some sentries at the 3rd. Pretty well-rounded setup for REYNOR. Stalker's got to be careful. Oh my lord, Solar's got plenty of Lings. Good stasis trap though. And Stalkers get out of there. I mean, as long as you know Solar's building plenty of units and feeling a little bit of pressure, I think you're okay here. And good harassment by Solar. Grabs a probe, gets in, gets out. Twilight Council is going to tell us a lot about the intentions of REYNOR in this game, guys. He has not used it yet. It's very late. He's just building observers. Warp Prism, then Observer. Now he goes to Immortals and Charge. Swarm Host very good against this style. Charge very bad against maxed out Roach pushes. Remember I talked about maxed out Roach push, you know, Queen Roach being something that's very likely for Solar to do. He's got good creep in the middle. He's making Roaches. He's got 70 workers, but he's not building many drones for that fourth base, not even moving a Spore Crawler there. REYNOR's going for what I would call tricky harassment, right? Gets an Overlord, does lose a Stalker though, not watching. And I think the idea is this push Solar's doing is kind of weak first, very, very good blink play. But REYNOR has no idea it's coming. He's just going to get overwhelmed, I'm pretty sure. This will be very hard to defend. He's trying to make it Archon. Oh no, he's going to morph that Archon right now. He does manage to morph it, but it can't get healed while morphing. Lings will target it down. Very good attack here. Setting up for the engage. Queens are going to come forward. Prism's going to fly through. The Roaches are here, man. And Charge Zealots are not what you want. He doesn't even have Charge. He's got one Immortal. Second one is on the way. But the numbers for Solar are so scary. It's 8 minutes, 24 Roaches with Roach speed. +1 isn't even quite finished. The Ling's on the third, already causing problems. He's going to start a Void Ray, but the Queens are right behind it. I don't think you're going to be dealing with those Queens, especially not with the Oracle getting taken out. Does tag the units, but a decisive Roach Queen shove, a brick to the face. Solar's most effective tool. He waited too long. He got a bit too fancy in the last game. He tried to go to a fencing competition with REYNOR. REYNOR out-finessed him in the late game. Solar now says, okay, I'm going to wait for you to walk out of your house. I'm going to wait in the bushes, pick up a brick, and smash it into your skull. And that is exactly what he's doing right now. Very hard build order to stop. The Immortals on the natural putting up a good fight, but the third base is getting overrun. Couple of Stalkers there with no upgrades, not going to be able to hold on against this. If he had a Disruptor or two, I might believe, but there's no amount of micro that can make up for the firepower differential. There are just so many more Zerg units than there are Protoss right now. And some would say he didn't even wait in the bushes. He just kind of pretended he was on the phone, but he definitely picked up a brick and smashed him in the face. Really well played. And Solar just doing fantastic. Very good job to even up the series after an unfortunate game one. All right. Let's go, guys. We got REYNOR up here in the top right side. Going gas first. No scout. Greedy boy build. Solar in the bottom left. Going to be getting his hatchery first up on 16. Hasn't really been adjusting his build to avoid getting blocked. And I like it. It's altitude, by the way. A big map. So not a bad one to decide to go for the greedy gas first opening. This allows you to just, as long as you're not scouting, yeah, your gateway's a few seconds late, but it doesn't affect the Nexus timing. Because you're not scouting, you save a bit of minerals. You use the extra probe to get earlier gas mining, which means earlier Stargate. You can also go Warp Gate and Stargate at the same time, so it's hard for your opponent to identify if you've gone Stargate or not without sacrificing an Overlord. There's a lot of advantages to this. This is one of my favorite openings. When I was grinding a lot of Protoss, last year? I think is when I was mostly doing Protoss, as well as earlier this year. That was a lot of gas first, no scout openings. It's a really slick build order. He doesn't even send the probe out after the Cyber Core. He says, if I get 12 pulled, I'd probably die. Scouting now doesn't really matter. It's almost always the same thing for Solar at this point, so definitely down with that. People in the chat are discussing the snow looks too white here. They're like, I'm from Finland. This does not look like real snow. It is too white. Snow is a different type of white. I love it. I love it. That's an amazing comment. These particle effects are actually, I'm pretty sure, part of the reason why we get lower performance on this map. So I apologize in advance. If there ends up being a mass Baneling battle, we may have a few frame drops there. Horrible Finnish accent. Oh, no one can speak like a Finnish person. They have the best accent in the world. To be fair, every Finnish accent is different as well. If you guys haven't heard Elfie, Welmu, and Cyril, they are all completely different, absolutely bizarro accents that are both amazing and fantastic in their own unique ways. It's great. I love it. Creep Tumor on the natural, inject in the main. So we're going to get a bit of early creep going. If this was a laser, he probably would have injected the natural, ran the queen from the main down here to put the Creep Tumor down because he wants the lava popping on the location where it's going to be. REYNOR is not being aggressive at all. He's just like chrono probes, second gateways coming up to complete the wall. Oracle, pretty damn early as well, and you'll see him chrono boost that here as he hits 50 energy. Nicely done. Clean build order for REYNOR. Immediately starting a pylon. That's the golden rule. As Protoss, whenever you start a unit out of your first Stargate or Robo, You always start a pylon. You can also do the same thing like when you start your Twilight upgrade, I guess is another way to think of that. If you go Twilight first, start the Twilight upgrade, build a pylon. Good way to never get supply blocked on 46 supply. Thank me later, Protoss players, because I know you guys always, I always get supply blocked on 46. That's the secret. Same reason, Zerg. Start third hatchery, build third queen, build overlord. Third Nexus down much quicker this game. Remember, the Nexus was delayed, the Adepts got thrown away, Oracle did get taken out. A lot of things went bad for REYNOR in both Game 1 and Game 2. I think he's just saying, look, I'm messing up my early game, let's play defensive, let him bring the fight to me, and I do expect a much quicker Twilight Forge follow-up. He's going for that third gas. So yeah, looks like he wants to play Gateway Man. Doesn't have to fully commit to it. It's not really REYNOR's style to play full Gateway Man, but starting with a 3 gas blink +1 is not a bad way to do it. Oracle actually picks off a Ling on the Watchtower. An interesting kind of investment of energy for a very minimal value, but apparently prioritizing denying vision. He's going to go for the single Stargate carrier build, guys. Starts a fleet beacon, but no second Stargate. Takes only a little bit of damage on the Oracle to get rid of some creep. Not too bad. Another Stalker warps in, but Lings can actually breach the wall. Uh-oh. Once this first Stalker went down, that was a problem. Oh, Solar does dilly-dally a little bit. There's another Stalker in the main. The probes will be able to defend that. And you know what? His fleet beacon gets scouted, but do you even have a response as Solar? For me, I felt like after that first game, his response would be, if you do this again, I'm just going to Queen Walk with Mass Roach. Do you guys think Solar's going to do that, though? I think Mutas was working fine. He honestly just needed to play the follow-up to the first Mutalisks better. Whether that means more Mutalisks faster or investing in just Mass Roach and shove the front, because I really think REYNOR was very fragile, but it's always about finding when the Protoss is fragile, doesn't have all the pieces together. Now, Roach Warren's on the way so far. Nice quick 4th base, 10 worker advantage. Solar's looking good. REYNOR's going to try to exert some pressure here, and I like that he's doing that because all he does is clear the Watchtower and turn around, though, and Solar's not taking the bait. He builds like 2 more Zerglings and goes back to droning. Solar's so confident at this point, and this is what happens when you crush your opponent's early harassment 2 games in a row. You start to feel untouchable in this stage of the game. Spire does get spotted there, so it looks like he's thinking about Mutalisks one more time. Oracles will grab just 1 or 2 drones, but not the best micro for REYNOR. We are back on US Central, by the way. It is REYNOR's server once again. Lings are on the Watchtowers. Templar Archives is on the way, so REYNOR here. He has 1 carrier out. He's building a second one. I love this 1 Stargate carrier build, guys. It's so bizarre and unique. Is it actually going to work out, though? On this map, Mutas are even better. They have even more ground to take advantage of. He's just going to come in from many angles at once. Seeing the Twilight in the Forge confirms to Solar it's a ground transition, but it's Blink this time. Okay. I don't know if he went Blink last time. Actually, I think he did, didn't he? So no actual big difference there. Pig getting excited for no reason. That's my specialty, guys. Queens were trying to maybe fake a walk across the map. Does clear up the creep tumors. Going to move out to a 4th base, but look at the spread on these bases. Tell me that is not a danger, man. 4 more gateways coming in. We'll bring him to 6 gates. Storm +1 and Blink and a 4th Nexus. But the Spire is finishing. 800 gas, 800 minerals, and he's going to use it just for Corruptors and Roaches. This is such a smart way of doing it. He's just going to say just enough Corruptors to kill the carriers, and then I will kill you with Mass Roach. Now, Stalkers are great versus that, especially with cannons and batteries, and he is building those. Problem is, Storm is not going to be very effective against either of those units, and it's a pretty big investment in his gas this early on. He is building 3 more gates, so he's going to go up to 7 gates. It's not a very high gate count, but if he gets all the cannon battery up, it will help cement his position pretty well. And that's an 8th gateway going down as well. I like that he full walls this side, which means his whole focus is going to be to the right. He's even got cannon battery in the middle. Static defense god REYNOR has a good read on what Solar's doing. I feel like this is all planning and understanding his opponent. I don't think this comes from him scouting. It's just him being like, I know what Solar's going to do. He's going to try and kill me. And he absolutely is. The Corruptors are there. He's been seen. REYNOR's carriers need to be kind of in the reserve. A bit of Psystorm is available, but there's so few other units right now. REYNOR's got Blink, he's got +1. But, oh, that cannon's not going to be able to go up. Nice Storm on those Roaches. 1 Oracle does go down already. Carrier is getting taken out there. There's so little support. What a beautiful timing. Nice storms to damage the units, but you need something to kill him, and Reynor does not have that right now. He needs to morph some Archons. He's still got one storm left. He wants to use that before morphing Archons. Does do storms from the left and the right at the same time. The Roaches and the Ravagers are getting heavily damaged. Solar's supply is insane though, and he's hitting a very crisp timing, trying to overwhelm. The cannons on the far right and the far left are doing nothing in this fight. This is the perfect time to take advantage of a player that's very reliant on static defense. Up 70 supply right now. Gets rid of all the air units. A brilliant timing for Solar. Highly successful. That being said, Reynor's on 76 workers. He has a 4th base up. His cannon battery is rock solid on the far right and the far left, and that does not show up in the supply count. Solar has thrown a brick. It's glanced off Reynor's skull, fracturing it in a few places. His orbital bone looking a little worse for wear. But remember, what is Solar's next move going to be? He's going to pick up another brick and he's going to throw it at Reynor's face again. Reynor just needs to survive. Cannons trying to build on that left side. They're a bit clumped, the cannon battery there. I don't like that formation too much. He doesn't have any new Psystorm up. The Stalkers, he just doesn't have enough Stalkers right now. No Void Ray or anything like that as well. Even if he built it, the Corruptors would have come in and cleaned it. He's got a few Stalkers in the natural, but not that many. The Roaches are about to breach, man. They're forcing good fights right now. Forcing good fights, and oh no! Solar unzips his fly and goes PP in the main. He says, undefeated? Undefeated versus me? Huh? With your Protoss? How about I defeat you now with my Roach Vomit, my Corruptor PP? The Corruptors do all go down, but they take out the Nexus in the main. The Stalker's going very nice. And Reynor, I mean, he's already lost the undefeated in maps record versus Solar with PvZ. Now going here, it looks like the Roach Ravager timing up the guts. So confident for Solar. And it just shows how hard it is to defend on altitude, especially when you're playing a very static defense-focused style. Reynor needed to be more Blink Stalker-focused with just a few batteries spread around. Cannons, as good as they are and amazing as they are, they cannot move, and that's what got punished this game. Solar taking perfect advantage. Good Blink control coming in for Reynor, but it's a bit too little too late, and definitely nicely done by Solar. Solar showing great decisiveness. I always say that Solar's ZvP doesn't really look that fancy. When he plays really good ZvP, it's just decisive mid-game timings that are so hard to stop. And Solar there with that decisive shove up the middle. 3 cannons on the right, useless. 3 cannons on the left, useless. Only 1 cannon and battery in the middle. The Stalkers were just not ready. You give Reynor another 30 seconds, he's fine, but Solar is too sharp. All right, guys, down here in the bottom right, Solar up 2 games. He only needs 1 more to finish it. A lot of people were saying, swap to Zerg, but for those who don't know, Reynor has been a bit burnt out after Gamers 8. He's been very open talking about that and saying, you know, I've just been not able to enjoy playing with Zerg. I just need to take a little bit of a break. So, you know, I hop on and play a bit of Protoss or Terran. I've been playing some other games, taking a little bit of a break. I'll still sign up and play these tournaments, and I really wanted him to play. He said, you know, when I asked him and confirmed, he was like, can I off race in the tournament? Because, like, if not, I probably won't bother playing because I'm just not having fun playing with Zerg right now. I need a bit of a break from it. So I absolutely love it. He's just kind of taking his time here to enjoy playing, and he knows he's not as crisp with Protoss. Like, a lot of these games, he's going to look at it, and he's going to be very aware of the mistakes he's made, but he doesn't really have the reps and the hours to instantly correct them, right? So it can be frustrating for fans looking at it going, oh, come on. The thing is, I see how genius he is with his late game strategy and how unkillable he can be in PvZ. Like, if he gets set up, like, you really are on a timer against Reynor, and even in PvT, last year when he was playing a lot of Protoss, he would often get way behind versus Terran. But if they let the game drag on long enough, he would smash in late game. I remember he was beating Clem in late game PvT, and it was a real scary moment for Clem where I was like, dude, are you not very good at late game, Clem? Then it dawned on me very quickly. No, Reynor's just legitimately got a very deep understanding of how good Protoss can be once they're set up, but getting there is a different story. And Solar's making it very difficult for him. So I actually like the way Reynor played the last game. In theory, the problem was cannons and batteries not as good on that map. On this map, you can maybe cover the space with cannon battery a little bit easier, especially if it's mostly centered kind of in a central area between your 3rd and 4th. But I think in general, you want to open up a bit heavier into the Stalkers and the gateways and use them more because their mobility allows you to buy time. Cannons and batteries can't move around, they can't reposition, they can't buy time. That's what really cost him in that last game. Adept is shading forward. 2nd Adept is just chilling at home. So I think if you're a Reynor fan, you're really looking for the Oracles to find a bit more damage to give him a chance. He hasn't been successful with his oracles, and I feel like there's a bit of a confidence hit. I talked about how Solar feels untouchable right now. Oh, clever move for REYNOR, but Solar anticipated it, and he didn't spread the creep tumor as early as he could have. So REYNOR doesn't get a snipe. He's going to move out to take that third base right now. Second oracle coming out. First one's going to go across the map, of course. Solar's coming forward with 4 Zerglings. Oh, that pylon's very late, guys. He really needs to get this this base started up. I like that adept positioning there, guarding the probe. Oracle comes forward. Could just go for the lava if he wants. I think he's just going to sit there for now. Oh, he turns his laser beam on. But Solar's pretty ready for it. 2 queens in the natural, 2 in the main. But he can leave the laser on and wait for that drone and at least force it to cancel there. And he runs away. Does turn the laser off. Third base does start at a decent moment there. REYNOR building another pylon just about a second late. He's not losing a lot of probe production from these supply blocks, but even small supply blocks, not something you expect to see for REYNOR. Normally he's a little bit tighter than that. That being said, as long as his oracles and adepts are a bit more successful, it'll be okay. Lings are going to come in and get a... Oh no, they changed targets there. They get 1 adept, but a couple of Lings go down for it. Not the worst trade in the world for REYNOR. His oracles can't really find a way in right now. 6 queens and 2 spore crawlers with a 7th queen on the way. Finally, REYNOR has his first successful flyby. Gets 2 drones, makes it 3. Good focus fire by Solar. Gets a few more hits manually targeted on that low hit point oracle. Very well done. The adept gets lured out. Careful, REYNOR. Solar's a cheeky boy with those Zerglings, he is. And just as he was about to hit a supply block, a pylon finishes. So you can see REYNOR correcting those mistakes and actually having a pretty smooth follow-up stage. Oracle here does not actually have energy to really guard those adepts, but 4 adepts a little bit more of a fierce force. I don't like that shade though, guys. If he lets that finish, that's a nasty. Remember game 1 where he got those adepts surrounded. Oracle's coming back in for a flyby. There's no spore crawler on that base. Ooh, that would have been a good angle. 2 queens, a spore, another queen. And he's going to actually use a revelation, grab 2 drones, tries to get a third, does actually get it and gets out. He hasn't lost an oracle, which is great for him. Now there's 7 more drones on the way. Solar, if he's going to do the Roach Queen shove, it's kind of going to be like what we saw in some of the earlier maps. Map 2, they just mass Roach Queen off 3 base. And to make sure that doesn't happen, REYNOR is going double robo on his natural. Now that's easily scoutable though. He's lucky Solar didn't run up his ramp, man. Because if Solar sees that, that's a real bummer. Sentries with terrible damage output. Oracles may have to turn their lasers on, but good patience. Oh, Solar sees it. He sees the double robo. And the problem is now Solar's just going to drop a Spire. He's too good for that. He actually goes Infestation Pit. I was expecting Spire versus double robo. That's interesting. Double Immortal, man. I guess it's going to be Quick Hive. So I guess he's probably expecting there to be a robo base somewhere. And he's probably just going to go Fast Hive for Vipers. I mean, it works versus Immortals as well. Vipers can be very good there. REYNOR... I mean, I'm a big fan of the double robo because it's so safe versus a lot of players and it's quite flexible. Keep in mind, robo is only a 150 minerals. An immortal costs almost 300 minerals. It costs 275. So 2 robotics facilities essentially is the same mineral investment as a single immortal. So people blow out the amount of investment this is out of proportion. It's the immortal production that actually costs you a lot. You can build 2 robos, they scout it, and you swap out of it and do other things. That's a very valid way to play. But, oh, Swarm Hosts! Swarm Hosts! Oh, because he knows you're not going to have, like, a lot of Blink Stalkers if you're doing this style. It's double robo into 4th base, and Solar's going to take advantage of this small map. Oh, he's playing so smart. The Oracle comes in. He sees the Swarm Hosts. Does REYNOR see it? Did he actually look at that is my question. He's making Archons. He sees a Swarm Host there for sure. He definitely just saw a Swarm Host, guys. Ooh, okay. He needs Archons to try and clear the Locusts when they land on his face. They're going to be a big problem otherwise. He's got 3 Oracles out. Queen's moving on that right side. You don't want to lose your 4th base, but if you move your army down there, you know these Locusts are going to clear your 3rd out. So REYNOR gives up the 4th. Potentially a very wise decision. Starts building a lot more pylons in his main. +2 attack is on the way. Solar with a massive supply advantage. Very good aggressive strategy for Solar. Let's see how REYNOR handles it. Locusts, Swarm Hosts, one of those does go down, but the Queens are right there. Oh, 2 Swarm Hosts falling, and if REYNOR backs off, he'll be okay. Locusts do land on the army. They manage to damage an Immortal and kill an Adept and a Stalker. 1 Oracle did fall to the Queens there. The Immortals did kind of have their barriers set off. That one Reddit point Immortal does look very, very low. The Swarmer is kind of trapped in the front line. They get torn apart by the Immortals. Pretty good play there. Ling's getting the natural, but there's a cannon and a battery. Great hold so far by REYNOR, but as the case, you gotta remember those Locusts are free units. They don't really cost anything. That being said, he lost 5 Swarmers, 35 Lings, and 5 Roaches. Good trading for REYNOR so far. No big transition for Solar. He is just dead set on me kill you now. He does end up getting 8 probes in total. Looks like the workers in the main taking a couple of hits, as well as in the natural as gas mining's being disrupted. REYNOR's so busy right now. Oh, the Locust, single Locust and 2 Roaches set off the stasis trap. He's diving on top of these Immortals. They're very clumped, so they eat some big biles. Trying to fall back to the safety of the cannons and the batteries, but this creep highway right outside your base, and we're feeling the oppressive power of Swarm Hosts when the creep is this far forward. If the Zerg has a creep schlong protruding into your third base, Swarm Hosts suddenly have just the carpet laid out for them. They can run in, throw the Locust into your base, run away. There's no catching them at this point. He's even going to break those rocks there as well. And double Immortal production, good versus the Roaches, good versus the Swarm Hosts, but they're not great versus the Lings, the Locusts, or the Ravagers. Solar is taking an extra gas. He's still not going Hive or Lurkers. That's the standard transition off this these days. He's not showing any sign of it. He's not even making +2. Solar is like, I tried to play later in the game in game 1, and it cost me big time. That was a disgusting game that I should have won. I'm not making that mistake again. I will throw a brick into your skull and fracture you, you foul Protoss. Ravagers on the right and the Roaches. Locust going into the natural. There are a few units to defend there. Along with those cannons, REYNOR with great micro on 2 fronts at once. He really is a master of survival as a Protoss player. That Archon getting very low, but it does fall back. The Locust in the natural take out a few cannons, but the Immortals micro back. The 4th base somehow survives, but for how long? I mean, you have to push forward as REYNOR here, but the Roaches are so cheap. He's now started the Hive and a Hydra and thinking about that transition. Zealot's going to try to save the base on the left. Charge is on the way. Maybe if there was a bunch of Psystorm mixed in here. I feel like if REYNOR can get like 8 High Templar with Psystorm mixed in or a few more Archons, he can clear these waves. Right now, it's just 3 Archons. He does have 4 Oracles. There's only 7 Queens on the map, 3 of them out front. Not quite enough Oracles to just get rid of them, though. I think he's just using the lasers to clear the Locusts. Here we go. He's going to have to fight this. Oracles do turn on their laser beams. Locusts land all over. Biles take out an Immortal and an Archon almost instantly. The Roaches not good in the follow-up fight versus Immortal Archon, so they back off and they pick apart the army little by little. He's got to try and push this creep back. REYNOR's got to get out here. He's got a decent supply, but these Ravagers so good at defending on creep. And what's really annoying for REYNOR is Solar is defending on REYNOR's side of the map. You want to be defending on your side of the map, and yet Solar's the one who's trying to defend here, trying to keep him back. It's frustrating. The Observers both got sniped. Great snipe for Solar. He's going after that Archon with the hatred of a Zerg player that does not want to let those Archons and Immortals reach critical mass. An Archon and an Immortal fall down. The Locusts are here once again, throwing their babies into battle with reckless abandon. The savagery of Abath is absolutely amoral and disgusting. Entire theory of evolution. He says there is no life sacred in the Zerg arsenal. Zealots do get in for a bit of a backstab. He is keeping the economy low of Solar. REYNOR is somehow surviving. I do not know how. The double robo is keeping him alive. The tankiness is actually keeping him up on the defense. Those Roaches do pop out and a few of them do escape, but REYNOR keeps splitting Zealots. And remember, there's only 67 workers right now. There's no Vipers, but there's still a lot of Swarmers. He cleared a lot of the creep here, but there's still creep north. That Schlong is still there, and Solar running right down to the tippity-tip to throw the Locusts into battle, looking to get REYNOR's Protoss very pregnant with Locusts. The Locusts coming in, the Ravager Biles will land, but Immortals are very tanky units. Archons on the top, you want to keep those alive to clear the Locusts. Let the Immortals fight the Roaches. The Archons are there for the Locusts. Zealot's still dancing in and out in the south. +3 attack will be coming in. REYNOR has kept his shiz together throughout. He needs an Observer, though, or he needs to use those Oracles to clear this creep. If he clears all creep on this side of the grass, I think he can get back in this game, but right now, Lurkers are making along with Lurker upgrades, and Immortals do wreck Lurkers, but once Vipers come out as well, that'd be great. Still no Vipers is amazing. I can't believe Solar went Lurkers before Vipers. I think he's so worried about a counterattack, he figured he needed that, but imagine how powerful Blinding Cloud or Abduct would be on this army. If you can come in from 2 sides with Locust and Blinding Cloud, like this Immortal Archon ball is just useless. Locust coming in from the right, Ravagers from the left. REYNOR's in a bit of a tight ball there. He's in a tight spot. The battery helping out a little bit, but he's losing more valuable units. Units lost tab is ahead right now for REYNOR, but only slightly. Zealots do find the mineral line. He's splitting in for 2 or 3 places at once, doing a great job. Great Zealot split here. Solar's got to be careful. He's getting chased on the front as well. REYNOR has found a way to max out. This man is weathering the storm like a psychopath. I do not know how he still lives in this game. Somebody Did you guys give him a book of necromancy? Who the hell gave this man some tome out of a goddamn ancient mummy's crypt? Like, what is going on right now? How is REYNOR still alive? Don't get me wrong, his position is not that powerful because there's still creep all over his side of the map, but he's right now killing the 5th base of Solar. He's making a Stargate transition, and most importantly, he's remembered to build observers. He's on 88 workers versus 51 drones. His army, though, is still dangerously small, and his position could crumble in a moment. REYNOR needs to just make more army. Archons, Immortals, Storm, Zealots, anything he can to hang on. The Lurker push, I think he's going to lose control of this base. He's only got 10 gateways. Losing 2 of them, not the end of the world. It's the base that's a bit more annoying because he doesn't really have any places to mine from. He's coming in from the right side. If he could get a good angle on the Lurkers, he might be able to break through, but the army supply advantage is so big for Solar. REYNOR has the angle, he has the army composition correct, but he does not have the numbers. That being said, Zealots are tearing up Solar's shiz. Solar's economy is getting ripped apart right now. This is such a close game still because Solar's economy is in tatters. A single Zealot takes out 6 drones before going down. The main is still mining. The natural is not. Solar's economy is diddled, but he still has those 11 Swarmos, and they are a disgusting renewable resource. Their ability to continue throwing locusts in is so good, and they finally find the probe line, and that's what they've been looking for. Archon's trying to come up, the probe damage going up. 13 drones fall. Nexus falls here, though, for REYNOR. He does try to take a new Nexus up top. He's still got a massive worker count. He's got 30 probes on that base, 10 on that. He's out of resources in the main. There's still 10 workers there. REYNOR has a pretty decent supply until you realize it's all probes. He needs more army. I don't think Disruptors will cut the mustard at this point. I don't know, maybe? I still feel like 1 or 2 Blinding Clouds ruins his day. Neuroparasite could ruin his day as well. His army's so simple. He's going to try and make carriers. It's such a hard transition with his position. He's going to try it, though. And there is 13 Lurkers coming and knocking. Get out of there, REYNOR. Those Immortals and Archons taking a few big heavy volleys. 1 Immortal and 1 Archon will falter this way. Very well done there by Solar. He's also going to grab 1 more Archon. Barely survives. REYNOR, I think if he got rid of this creep earlier, the moment he pushed him back with the Zealot run-bys, it would have been good. But Solar has now stabilized versus the Zealots, and REYNOR's been fighting like a hellhound, but I don't think it's enough. Solar's still got the army count, and that is just so hard to deal with, being down at half the army, unless you catch the Lurkers. Oh my god, Solar! Not like this, mate! Not like this! He does pull back to the high ground. Oh, he just lost a couple of Lurkers. That could have got very bad. Carriers are absolutely the play. If he can get out like 4 or 6 carriers, there's not that many Hydras, but just 2 carriers is not going to be enough on its own. So REYNOR still needs to buy more time right now, and my lord, Solar is not going to give him that time. Oh god, the Locusts are going to go after the Immortals. He's got nothing to deal with them right now. The Roach Hydra Lurker is mostly being cleaned, or at least the Roach Hydra frontline. The Lurkers are still doing pretty good. Dude, some buildings go down. The carriers finally get shown. REYNOR is forced to F2 in here. Zealots take out another 6 drones. Solar's economy is 31 drones versus 78 probes. REYNOR's lifeline is the Nexus in the top. Solar doesn't know about it. If Solar knew about that base in the top, he could send a single unit there and win the game. But REYNOR is getting away with murder in the top of the base, and Solar is so tunnel vision on killing this base right here, right now, that he might give REYNOR an opportunity to get back in it. Oh, the rocks actually crush a unit there. Not too bad for REYNOR, but his ground army is very small. There's not that many carriers. Carriers number 3 and 4 are not here yet. He's getting chased back. It's a handful of elite Protoss veterans. 18 kill Immortal, 7 kill Archon, 28 kill Immortal, but he's losing control of this base on the bottom, and a Corrosive Bile just took out 32 probes. 32 probes just went down to a single Corrosive Bile. He says, economy? What economy advantage? But REYNOR, of course, already striking back, taking out Solar's 4th base. Solar's 3rd is wide open. REYNOR is stressing Solar out right now. Solar wants revenge so badly for the 2 times he's lost to REYNOR's Protoss in tournaments. But you know what? I think he's still got the big advantage. Just that army supply is massive. The Viper coming in is finally going to be that game-changing unit I've been talking about for a while. But hats off to Solar for keeping these 11 Swarmos alive, because that's where the crazy values really come from. That and this creep schlong. Finally, REYNOR's going in for the snippy. He's going to try and remove it, but the army's already there to punish him. He's got to get out. And there's 17 Hydras. He does have High Templar on the way with Storm, which is obviously going to counter Hydras and Vipers, but he's just lost a bunch of intercepts. He can't afford to replace it. And oh no, don't lure him to the top. If Solar realizes that base is there, he instantly wins this game and this series. It goes to the round of 8 to face Bunny. Dude. No. Solar, how do you not notice? Oh no, Solar. The army supply gap is actually lessening over time. Solar just doesn't know about this base. He thinks REYNOR is chucking a fantasy right now. He's like, okay, I got you down. Like, I don't have much economy, but you don't have any bases mining. I'm still getting the last minerals here and here. I'm definitely out on economy. And he doesn't know there's Side Storm there. Now, Abducts could give you game winning. You Abduct 2 carries. Oh, watch out for the Abducts. Watch out for the feedbacks. If he can feedback the Viper, REYNOR's going to be okay. 6 carriers are out versus 25 Hydras. You add a bit of Side Storm in there. That's going to go pretty well for REYNOR. The creep highway is still here, very far forward. This is a very close game. The army supply is 50 supply ahead. Solar's gonna shove it. Oh, big storms, but the High Templar do take a big lurker volley. Locust coming from the south as well. The feedback does land, but only after a carrier gets abducted. The carriers, are they enough to push back this Hydra ball? I don't think so. The Hydras have 2-1 upgrades. The carriers only have +2 air attack. So many interceptors have already fallen. An amazing attack here by Solar. He's got to finish it now. He's finally found REYNOR's last base. REYNOR's out of interceptors. REYNOR cannot defeat these Hydras. His carriers are forced to retreat. And at the end of an absolutely insanely back and forth game, REYNOR is going to lose his last bastion of economy and most likely be pushed out of this. Another Zealot run-by comes in the south, though. Man, these Zealot run-bys. Solar has had to really work for this. My lord. REYNOR is just so annoying to deal with today. His Zealot run-bys are great. His ability to absorb a punch, absolutely incredible. I mean, that comeback in game 1 was the stuff of legends. He has almost come back in this game like 2 or 3 times, and I really do believe if he moved north and cleared this creep earlier by rebuilding his observers, he would have been good. It seems like a small thing in the heat of everything that happened, but when those 2 observers died to corrosive bile, I actually think that could have been what stopped REYNOR's comeback, because it was so long before he regained map control. Lurker, Locust dive. That Nexus is gonna go down. Oh, Solar, without even exposing his army, keeps his Hydra safe. Lurker's up front, takes out REYNOR's last Nexus. And man, Solar had to work so hard for this. It's once again a testament to REYNOR's skill. You know, this is not REYNOR practicing Protoss for the last month every day, 400 games. Obviously, he's probably put some practice games in for today, but it's just him saying, I feel like doing something a bit different, having some fun. I've done it in the past with Protoss. Let's see if I can do it again. Solar, though, I really think he made all the adjustments needed after a game 1 that would have broken a lot of players mentally. He made all the adjustments, he adapts, he adjusts, and he does manage to take a hard-earned victory. Looks very relieved there, and a big smile on REYNOR's face. GG, well played to Solar. Well-earned victory.